Well, the new iPhone is here. Same thing as every other year. We got a new phone here on our hands. But this one is $1,000. Is $1,000 worth it for this phone? Should you spend $1,000 on this? Let's find out.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so welcome to the iPhone X overview on all the features that the iPhone X has here. Just to start off the bat, this is my wife's phone, just in case everyone is wondering. I have the black version, she got the white version. So, and this is her phone and her background and stuff. It's just easier to record, so I chose to do it this way, just to make things easier for me to record. Now, let's start off with the main feature that everyone knows about the iPhone X that is exclusive to it and obviously very noticeable as soon as you turn it on, which is the actual screen here itself. So it's an OLED screen, which is the first for the iPhone, and any iPhone, and it makes the colors very vibrant. It makes the blacks look really good. You know, the colors look great, and it's also an HDR display, the first for the iPhone, which makes it, for HDR movies that are out there on the iTunes store and stuff like that, it looks even better than it would normally because it has the HDR, just like your 4K Blu-rays have HDR and stuff. It looks really, really good, basically, and OLED makes those colors look really good as well. Now, obviously, the other big thing about it is that it's taking up the whole entire screen here. There is this notch up here that everyone likes to talk about. For me, it went away within like 24 hours. I didn't notice it anymore, especially apps that were designed for the iPhone X that are getting updated. It blends into the screen and you don't really pay attention to it after a little while. So I don't have an issue with it. Maybe you will. I didn't. So besides the screen being amazing and it feels good in the hands, and you know, it's a good one-handed use device with the way that this works here, so it's just a really good display. Now, the next thing that's exclusive, obviously, to the iPhone X that no other iPhones have is Face ID. Now, I'm not going to show you because this is my wife's phone of going through the process. I've already showed you guys that during the iPhone unboxing, but basically, what I am going to tell you is after a month of using it, I haven't had any issues with it at all. It's worked really well. 99% of the time, I haven't had any issues with it. The only things that I have to get used to is if I have this sitting like here right now, if I tried to unlock the phone, if it was turned on, it'd be, you know, complicated because I'm not staring at the phone. I have to lean over the desk and like actually go look at it, which I'm not used to because if not, you have to enter in the passcode if you don't use Face ID. So that's something to get used to. If you place your phone down on a desk and expect to just unlock it with your finger, that's not obviously going to work because you have to like tilt the phone and face it towards your face. But when it is tilted, it works really, really well. And it unlocks within like the second that you pull your screen up, it's already unlocked. So works well. We'll see how secure it is, like Apple claims to be over the coming months. Now, the next thing that everyone also talks about, which we'll get into now, is Animojis. So let me see if this is on a screen without a text message that I can show you guys. Okay, it's on the text message. I want to make sure it was still on there. So this is a big thing right now. So here are the Animojis here. We got a pig here. We got, of course, the crap one. And the fox. And aliens. We got a few more here that you guys can scroll through. Just to do a quick test to show you guys, you can actually do two things. You can take a picture of your face with your emotions. Like if you smile, hold it to take a picture of it, and then send just the emoji of your face like captured. Or you could do something like this. Let me hold it up so I could do it real quick. Oh my God, we're filming the iPhone X unboxing. It is crazy. Oh my God, we're filming the iPhone X unboxing. It is crazy. So you can see there that it's capturing my smile when I move my mouth and all that stuff in your eyes and in your eyebrows, you know, stuff like that. So, oh my God, we're filming the iPhone X unboxing. It is crazy. So it's all really cool stuff. And you can play with these, and a lot of the things that people are doing now is Animoji karaoke, basically, where you're like you're lip singing, and this guy's like doing it with your mouth, and it's listening to the music in the background. It's hilarious. Go search it on Twitter if you guys want to see it. I actually did one as well, and posted it on there. So that's also an exclusive thing to the iPhone X because of the true camera in the front that only exists on the iPhone X, and it doesn't have it on the other phones. Because it's using the same technology as Face ID. Something else that's exclusive to this phone as well is the front-facing camera that has portrait mode. So if you look at here, and we'll face it towards me so you guys can kind of see it. So if you see here, while I'm recording here, you can see that it has the portrait mode on the front, so you can scroll through natural light. It's got studio light, contour lighting, stage lighting, and mono lighting. So this is an exclusive thing to only wear. Like the other phones, I believe the iPhone 8 has it, but it only has it on the back. This actually has it for selfies on the front now too, so that's pretty nice. And you can use that now for your selfies on the front and the back. Now, as far as the other features that I have here, I'm going to go through them real quickly. That is stuff that the iPhone 8 has, or maybe even the previous iPhones have. So the next thing, obviously, is well, actually, I can't believe I skipped right over this when I was talking about the screen. But obviously, there is no more home button. So if your phone is locked and you try to unlock it and you need to unlock it, you swipe up, and that's how you get rid of it. Same thing if you're in an app. If you're on here, you swipe up, and that's it. It's the same exact concept here. If you want to look at your command center, you scroll from the top right. If you want to do multitasking, you go upwards, hold up, and then you can scroll through and hold this to swipe it away. I'm not going to scroll down to notifications because I don't know what's there, but this is how you would get to notifications and scroll this down, is on the left-hand side. So I totally forgot and the home button thing, as you can tell, since I totally forgot about it, it's very obvious that I already forget that it doesn't exist, and I'm already used to it. It took me literally like an hour to get used to the fact that the home button isn't there because the gestures work really well, no slowdowns or anything, and they work without any issue, so there's no reason for me to, even worry about it. So besides the home button thing also, so we're going to wireless charging. The iPhone 8 has it as well, that this can now wirelessly be charged. The only thing is if you want to fast charge it, you need the iPhone, an iPhone branded like cable to charge it, or some other third party that may be making it now too. But it's not going to work with the standard like ones that come in the box. It doesn't come in the box. You have to purchase it separately. But as far as the wireless charging itself, with standard charging, not the fast charge, you can get anything off the shelf that's QI, and it will charge your phone wirelessly, finally. Now, as far as the battery life goes, I haven't had any issues with it lasting me all day. It's supposed to last 2 hours more than the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 8. That seems about right. It lasts a little less than the iPhone 8 Plus or the iPhone 7 Plus, about an hour and a half lower than those. But it still gets me through the day, even using it all the time. So the battery life for me hasn't been an issue, and I haven't had any issues with it. So the processor is obviously faster than the other. It has the same processor the iPhone 8 has, and this one has it too. And it obviously makes things faster. The graphics card chip is better. Things that unless if you're looking for it, you're not going to notice. It definitely is smoother. Like this is as smooth as it gets. But if you're not looking for it, you may just think it's just as fast as the other phones, because the other phones were not slow to begin with. But it is better. It is faster. The graphics chip is better, so games will eventually look better once they start taking advantage of it. One of the other things that this phone has, and I believe the iPhone 8 has as well, is the camera has obviously gotten upgraded as well with, I don't know the exact details off the top of my head, but it makes the pictures look better and lower light and stuff like that they've done. It's still a 12 megapixel camera though. So I think that basically, as far as the features on the phone that stand out, that's basically what it is. So the things that the iPhone X has that no other phones actually have, including the iPhone 8, would be obviously the OLED screen. It's an HDR display. The corner-to-corner, obviously, display itself on how it goes to edge is on there. Face ID is obviously exclusive to it. No home button and the gestures you're using now, obviously exclusive. The Animoji, since it uses the camera that's in the front, the True Depth camera, also exclusive to the iPhone X. And then the other stuff is just, the stuff that we talked about before. The faster processor, the better graphics card, the Face ID. Sorry, not the Face ID, the wireless charging, the battery life and all that. And the camera that got upgraded is all the same on every other phone, except for the camera portrait lighting on the front camera that is also exclusive to the iPhone X. So that basically is a rundown of what the iPhone X has as far as features go, and what you can do with it and what you can expect out of it. So let's go into our final thoughts on this and see where we end up with. Hopefully you guys got a good idea on what features are there and if it's important to you. Now, as far as final thoughts go, so this is where I roll the line here. Just food for thought here real quick. I am a person who switches every 6 months from Android to iOS. I wouldn't consider myself a fanboy of anything. I like technology of all around. Same thing with games. I'm not a fan of either console or brand. Sorry, let me say that again. Not a fan of either brand. I just like gaming and I play them wherever they are, whether that be on the Xbox, PS4, PC, 3DS, whatever it may be. Same thing applies to technology. So, with that being said, I've had almost every single iPhone. Actually, I think I may have had every single iPhone. I've had a lot of Samsung phones. I've had Motorola's. I've had, you know, everything that was basically what was being talked about. I basically had and looked at. When you look at the iPhone X and what you just saw, it's really good. The device hasn't had any issues for me. I haven't had any lag or anything like that or any crashes. I know some people with the iOS 11 have said that they've had issues with it, battery life and things crashing and stuff. I haven't had anything, and I'm a person who uses tons and tons of apps. That's the reason I got the 256 gig model, is because I download so many apps. I like trying the newest apps, every day, or newest games, whatever it may be. So, no lag, no issues like that. Now, as far as the phone itself, the screen, when I first got it, and I talked about this in my unboxing, it was a little weird holding it for a second because I've come from, bigger phones before, especially coming from the S8 Plus. It's a smaller phone, but it's actually not been that bad. It's actually been a pretty good sweet spot, with the screen size. Now taking up the whole entire screen, it's actually been pretty good to hold in your hand, a lot easier to use one-handed, obviously, and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, whenever they do come out with the bigger version of it, to like the rumors have been for next year, and it becomes a 6.1 inch screen or whatever, I'll be getting the bigger phone because I still like bigger phones. I play games and watch videos on it and stuff. But I'm not upset, or I'm not missing my older phones just because I used to have, either the S8 Plus or the iPhone 7 Plus that I used to have as well. So, size for the screen is actually really good. The screen itself, as you saw, OLED, the first on an iPhone, looks amazing. The colors on it, like the blacks and all that, look great. Best that's ever looked on an iPhone, especially when you're watching an HDR movie, because this phone is one of the first ones. It is the first one for iPhones to actually have an HDR approved display. So when you watch an HDR movie, the colors are better, they're brighter, and it looks really good. I don't need to go into an HDR spiel. You guys should know what that is. So that looks really good as well. But I haven't had, I've been really impressed with the phone. It's been really, really fast. The games have run well on it. Apps that are actually optimized for it work really well as well. Some games aren't, Clash of Clans or Clash Royale. Those games aren't optimized yet, but everything comes with, time. They all usually end up updating, especially the bigger games out there. They'll update eventually. It will just cut the corner, so you'll be looking at the display kind of cut like this. So you'll see it cut like this in half. And, you'll have the black bars on the side if the games don't support it, or the black bars top and bottom. The games that do support it and support it well, and the apps that support it well, look great. Facebook, Instagram, some of the stuff I showed you before, those look really good. Now, as far as my thoughts, should you buy this phone? I think you should. If you're an iPhone fan only, we're talking about strictly if you're an iPhone fan right now. If you have an iPhone 7 Plus, it becomes a question of how much do you value the display on here and the camera stuff. I, for one, wanted the display to take the full screen. It makes a big difference to have the whole, hold the phone and have it all be screen. It looks really good. It's obviously going to be a lot faster, stuff like that. But it's still, you're still got to, it depends on what your program is. I know a lot of carriers out there now are doing the upgrade program. So every year you get a new phone. So if you're in that kind of program like I am, where I get a new phone every 6 months or whatever, there's no reason why you shouldn't get this phone. There's no issues with it. It works really well. So at that point, it becomes a matter of taste. Do you like the iPhone 8 that exists, that's just like your iPhone 7 but has beefer specs, has almost all the features that this phone has, minus the OLED, minus the screen, minus the portrait mode on the front. Wireless charging is on there as well. So you get most of the stuff on there. So it becomes a question of, like I said, the portrait mode and the camera stuff. Do you really care about it? Face unlock and the screen. If that is something that you really care about, then that's something to consider. Now, if you have something older than the iPhone 7 Plus, then I would definitely tell you that you should definitely upgrade if you're considering, if you like the screen and all that, and you're just asking yourself, is it worth the upgrade from my iPhone 6 Plus? There's no doubt about that. Obviously, the people who got the iPhone 8 beforehand, obviously, you already chose that phone, so there's no reason to talk about upgrading from that because you just got that. So that would make no sense. Now, for people who are on the Android fence and are thinking about coming to iOS, this is definitely the best phone, in my opinion, that I've ever had from Apple. As far as like, you know, the total package, the screen, the sound, the speakers all sound really good. All that comes into it. The speed of the, you know, the processor obviously is really quick. Always has been, but it's just gotten a step above now. The AR stuff is another thing that's cool. It works on all phones, and most of that, I forget exactly which one it stops at, but it works on your prior phones as well too. But that stuff is good. It just works better because there's more processing power and there's more graphics power on this phone. So you may start noticing apps run better on AR on this phone as well. That being said, if you're on Android and you're looking to go into iOS, then this is a great phone to get and jump in. Because, like I said, it's probably the best phone Apple's ever made, in my opinion. If you're just on the fence and you don't know which side to go on, this isn't doing anything for you that all the other iPhones have done. So, if you like Android for its customizability and all that stuff, and you like tinkering with stuff, then this phone's not going to do it for you. Nothing's going to change here. You might as well stick with the Android phone that you have. This is just the best iPhone for iPhone users, basically. If you're an Android fan and you've been waiting to try iPhones, then sure, jump in now and you'll get the best experience you can get from Apple. But if you're on the fence because you're waiting to see if something's changed drastically, nothing in iOS 11, nothing on this phone is going to make you change your mind. If you've always been an Android fan, stick with an Android. That's basically how that goes. But as far as the phone itself, for iPhone fans and everyone else, it's a great phone. It's the best phone Apple's ever made. The display looks absolutely amazing, which is the most important thing for me, at least in a phone, because I use it all. That's what you stare at all the time. You want your games and your apps to look great. So that's what excited me the most on this phone is the screen. Not having a home button, no big deal to me. I got used to it within like 5 seconds. So that wasn't an issue at all. So that basically concludes our review, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, iPhone X, is it worth $1,000 that you have to pay for it? Well, before I let you guys go, actually, let's go into that for 2 seconds because it just blinked in my head what I wanted to say about that. A lot of people have been going crazy that this iPhone X that this iPhone X is $1,000. That's a headline everywhere. Oh my God, the iPhone's $1,000. Yes, it's a really, really expensive phone. Yes, you can get Android phones a lot cheaper. But if you compare this to flagships like this S8 that people all talk about, or if you compare this to the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus, it's really not that far off. Yes, it's obviously a big difference. It's like, I believe let's say around $200 more for this phone versus like the iPhone 7 Plus or the iPhone 8 Plus, give or take a little bit there. But some of the people, the way that they put it in headlines and the way that the people are talking about it, they're making it seem like we just went from having $500 phones to all of a sudden paying $1,000. So that's not the case. It is more money, but at the grand scheme of things, with all service providers now doing the monthly payment program that you have to sign up for, and not doing the 2-year contract, unless if you obviously sign for no contract at all and just buy the phone outright. But for most of us who are doing the contract thing, this phone cost me, I believe, $4 more a month than it did when I had the S8. $3 or $4 more. Give or take a couple there. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. So I just wanted to let you guys know that it still is a really expensive phone, obviously. You need to decide if that's something that you can afford and if it works for you, but it's not as big of a deal as people are making it seem, especially if you're coming from an iPhone 8 Plus or iPhone 7 Plus or a Galaxy S8 when you're already paying $930 or $950 for a phone to begin with. So that's all I had to say about that, guys. So great phone, best phone Apple has ever made. Worth the money if you're an iOS fan. If you're an Android fan, this isn't going to change your mind. That's basically what this wraps up as, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We're having that game room tour coming up very, very shortly. It could possibly be the next video, so make sure you subscribe to see this entire game room and check it out.
Tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech, gaming techie, gaming tech. Eating brekkie is the gaming tech, going for a recce is the gaming tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech, gaming techie.